I am the only owner of the limited edition Maria Soul Labubu.
I'm Team Jeremiah.
While some boomers are stocking up on canned food for the apocalypse and building bomb shelters with exceptional decor, Gen Z is stocking up on limited edition gremlins with big teeth. If you've opened TikTok in the last months, you've probably seen this little guy. It's part bunny, part goblin, part fever dream. I don't know how to explain it. So Labubu is this vinyl figure from the brand PopMart who's very famous for getting adults to spend rent money on mystery boxes. But you don't get it, okay? This is not just a cute toy. This is a flex. Do you have a Labubu? No? Then I don't want to talk to you. No, please don't go. Please come back. Labubu drops sell out in minutes. Resale prices hit hundreds of dollars, sometimes thousands. What do you mean you spent $10,000 on a thing? It's the perfect storm. It is genius. They use scarcity marketing, and it's just weird enough to make you feel like you're in on a little secret. And in a world where you need like 10 years of experience for an entry-level job and you need to fight 30 people in order to get an apartment that you will then spend like 90% of your paycheck on, of course we are spending real adult money on these little plush toys and also on upcoming Hannah Montana tour tickets. And all of this is happening while Demi Lovato is singing camp rock songs with the Jonas Brothers all over again like it is 2008. I feel like I woke up in a pink sparkly Y2K fever dream. And honestly, I get it. Maybe this is what Gen Z actually needed. But I have a theory that this is not a random increase in nostalgia, and it is not just a well-executed marketing campaign and pure consumerism. This could be our version of therapy. So let's unpack why our generation is throwing money at the past while our future looks like this. Welcome back. This is not Maria, this is my soul speaking. Anyway, if you're not familiar with Labubus or Hannah Montana, yes, the 2010s Disney Channel hit, let me explain. Imagine a fever dream beanie baby. Yeah, those. Crossed with something that might steal your snacks at 3 a.m. And no, that is not Hannah Montana. That is a labubu. It's a collectible in a plush form. Please keep up. And for the uninitiated, and I'm so sorry you've missed out on this, Hannah Montana is a Disney Channel star. She is the icon of the late 2000s, living life as a normal girl by day and a pop star by night. She gave us country, she gave us lover girl drama, but also wigs and glitter microphone and this deeply unrealistic idea that you can change your identity with a wig and no one will recognize you. She is the Clark Kent of my childhood, except with more glitter and less saving the world. And now Miley Cyrus, the actress playing Hannah, hints to do something big for the Hanniversary, which is coming up this March. And everyone is losing their minds and hoping to get a world tour. And all of this while Demi Lovato is singing camp rock songs with the Jonas Brothers has raised a few questions for me. The first of all being why? Like, no, you don't get it. Why not? Like, genuinely, why wouldn't we do this? So many people are shitting on like, oh, Gen Z is participating in another trend again. Why not? Karen. But I do have another more serious question. Like, why is Gen Z obsessing over these low-key horrifying figurines? And why is this early 2000s fever dream like a support system for us? Because look, right now the future seems less like a bright horizon and more like a horror movie directed by someone who very clearly hates humanity. The job market is brutal. The climate change is not climate changing. No, actually, it is climate changing too much. And politics are currently a dumpster fire so intense that too hot to handle seems like a meditation retreat. So what do we do? Apparently, we retreat to the past, not because we want necessarily to relive it, but because it's the last place that kind of felt safe to us. It's the last thing that feels simple enough to understand. A place where your biggest worry was whether Hannah could put her wing back on before her crush walked in so that he wouldn't recognize her. And yeah, maybe Gen Z is spending a lot of money on things that don't seem to have a lot of practical value, but emotionally, this is like investing in a little comfort, a little control. So yes, Karen, while it looks like we are losing control and buying things impulsively and just singing old songs, what we're actually trying to do is maybe just stitch together some sense of stability. Now, do I think these things are cute? No. Honestly, no. However, I think that this is cute. Okay, you can use this against me. I have debated. Look at the price. I've genuinely debated buying this. This keychain, however, this is definitely cute. So I kind of get the idea of buying labubus. By the way, do you know how much they are? Because if you actually manage to get it somehow for the normal retail price, you're still paying $30. $30 for something that you don't know what it looks like because it's in a mystery box. I thought these would be like a $10 thing, but also I'm not one to talk. It might actually not be that cute. It's just interesting. I don't know. But there's something else. Nostalgia isn't about just the individual. It is a way to connect. As a generation who has really felt the impact of the 2020 crisis and has since been facing a loneliness epidemic, yes, a general loneliness epidemic. Yeah. Connection is important and priceless. Almost like labubus. So of course, while the world seems more isolated and fragmented than ever, screaming to nobody's perfect at a Jonas Brothers concert and bonding over labubu unboxing videos is a way to feel like you're part of something. It's like a shared language for a generation who's growing up with more uncertainty and less security than some of the generations before. And remember how back in the day we would bond over like collectible cards, like the Pokemon cards or webkins? Do you remember webkins? Can they die? I think mine died. It's literally the same thing, just now it's like TikTok trends about creepy toys, but the feeling is the same. It is about finding your people and connecting with them. And yes, standing in line for hours and going into debt for an accessory / toy might be a little bit too much for me to fully understand and get behind, but I don't say that judgingly. If you like it, go for it. Don't go into debt. But go for it. Also, funny story, I was in this Bangkok mall a couple of months ago and I really needed to go to the toilet. It was early morning, some stores weren't even opened, and then I saw the toilet. But between me and the toilet were a bunch of people just standing in front of the store and I didn't understand what was going on. It was a Pop Mart store. I only recently understood what was happening after I got educated on the topic. Silly me. But while I tried to find another way to go to the toilet, I was just thinking like, should I also go and stand there? I kind of want to buy whatever they're buying because I feel like I'm missing out. I don't know what I'm missing out on, but this is bringing up some FOMO for sure. Also, Gen Z is in this really weird spot. Half of us barely remember the 2000s. The other half were literally in diapers when Hannah Montana aired. And so I feel like we don't really belong to any era, if you get what I mean. Like, look, I love 2000s clubbing music. Have I ever been in a club in the early 2000s to actually listen to that clubbing music? No, I was a baby. But for some reason, 2000s club music is still my jam. And I feel like thanks to, social media, we all feel like we experienced the 2000s, even though we weren't really there. So we have this kind of nostalgia about something that we never got to experience fully because most of us were way too young to even get the vibe. The vibe check didn't check us. And maybe nostalgia really hits different when you didn't get to have it the first time around. So maybe this is why as a generation, we don't just experience nostalgia. We don't just remember it fondly, but we try to actually cosplay it and relive it in a way. We thrift Y2K fashion. I have more lip glosses than I can count. And we are passionate about shows that aired when we barely knew how to walk. Like, be honest. How many of you are Gen Z and have actually watched Friends when it aired? But somehow those aesthetics, that whole era has been mythologized into something fun and safe and something we want to get back to. I mean, it's definitely not the real 2008, with the housing crash and the whole world economy collapsing. We are wishing for the Pinterest version life of 2008. Like the glittery Motorola Razr, the iPod Nano, the low-cut jeans, the fun chains and layered tops. Some of us never got to have those back then because, again, we were in diapers, but maybe now is our second chance. And I have a theory that collectibles like labubu are just a physical manifestation of the era that we never really got to have. A labubu is not functional. It doesn't actually solve anything unless you need a belt. Does it solve something? I feel like the belt would still function without the labubus there, but anyway, it's fine because they're weird and soft and you can collect them. And in a very digital world where a lot of our experiences can disappear if an app goes down, I feel like having something to collect and something that is tangible is worth a lot. Not sure if it's worth $10,000, but it's worth a lot. And sure, it is an expensive and kind of scary plastic gremlin, but it is also a reminder that you can still choose what to do with your money. I mean, you cannot control rent prices, but you can control which limited edition labubu you pull out of the mystery box. Actually, you don't. You don't know what you're buying. It's a mystery box. I mean, it's like a reward, but the problem is that this influx of nostalgia might not just be therapy. It kind of feels like a warning sometimes. Because if you think about it, the more the present feels unstable, the more we cling to the past. And when everything feels unstable, the past isn't just some distant memory. It becomes like a full-on safety bunker, you know? Like the ones with the beautiful decor. Oh my god, where did you get that? I also want that curtain. It's gorgeous. And of course, corporations know this. They're not just giving us nostalgia because they're feeling sentimental. They're giving us nostalgia and collectibles because they know we're gonna buy it. They're feeding us. They're giving us exactly what we want. We get remakes, we get reboots, we get rebrands, and we get limited edition drops that of course we all need to have, like right now. I feel like they might be designed to keep us emotionally invested into something that's just not there anymore. Like, I'm sorry, Hannah Montana is like, well, nostalgia is comforting. And honestly, in these times, I don't blame anyone for holding on to nostalgia and to literally flip phones like it is a lifeline. We have to be aware of why it feels so good and why we're so obsessed with it as a generation. And it is not because we're a lazy and weird generation like boomers argue. It's because the past feels safe and the future doesn't. And whose fault is that, boomers? I'm sorry, I keep dragging boomers. I don't think I'm wrong though. So yeah, we are not naive. We know the labubu is not gonna stop the iceberg from melting. But maybe, just maybe, it gives us enough emotional energy to just like keep showing up and doing our best. And if that means I have to explain to my children why I own 7 different terrifying plush goblins from 2025, then so be it. I'm joking. I didn't manage to get my hands on a labubu. I really wanted to. They're hard to find and I'm not dropping 10 grand on one. I did, however, find clothes for labubu. You can dress them up in Halloween costumes. It's not even Halloween yet. Chill. But if I could, honestly, I might just go out and buy them right now. After I buy the taxi keychain. Because at the end of the day, in a world that feels like it is falling apart, maybe holding on to a piece of collectible or a piece of nostalgia is what is actually keeping us together. And for Gen Z, of course that thing is gonna be either glittery or really weird.